I caught my wife cheating while I was 2,000 miles away, so I showed her who I really am. I was working 2,000 miles away when I found out my wife had been cheating on me, with someone she brought into our own home. I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I made a plan, and made sure she'd never forget who she underestimated. Hey Reddit. I've been lurking here for months, reading stories that felt too familiar. Finally decided to share my own. This is long, but I need to get it out. Maybe it'll help someone else who's going through something similar. My name is Ahmad, I'm 34, and I work as a software engineer. Been working in Dubai for the past 8 years. This story is about how my 7-year marriage ended with a text message while I was 2,000 miles away from home, and how my wife Zara tried to destroy everything we built together. I met Zara in 2016 through a mutual friend at a wedding in Mumbai. She was 24, I was 27. Beautiful, smart, worked as a graphic designer. We talked for hours that night about everything. Technology, books, travel dreams. She seemed different from other girls I'd met. Independent, ambitious, but still grounded in our values. Our families knew each other peripherally. Her father Rashid Sahab ran a small import business. My father Imran was a government officer. Good match on paper. We got engaged after 6 months of getting to know each other. Married 8 months later in December 2016. Simple nikah, reception for 300 people. I was already working in Dubai then, so we planned she'd join me after getting her visa sorted. The first 2 years were honestly great. Zara moved to Dubai in early 2017. We had a nice 2 BHK apartment in Karama. She found freelance design work. We'd travel to Oman and Qatar on weekends. She'd video call my parents every Friday, send them photos of the food she cooked. My Ami loved her, always said, Zara bahu badi achi hai, tum eki baiwi mili hai. But looking back now, the red flag started around 2019. Small things at first. Zara became obsessed with social media, constantly posting photos, always checking who liked what. She started complaining about money more, wanted designer bags, expensive restaurants, said all her friends' husbands earned more than me. I was making good money, around 15,000 AED monthly, but she acted like we were poor. She also started picking fights about my family. Said my mother was too involved in our lives, that my weekly calls home were excessive. When we'd visit India, she'd make scenes about staying with my parents. Insisted we needed to get a hotel. My family noticed the change, but I defended her every time. The real problems started in 2020. COVID hit, her freelance work dried up. We were stuck in Dubai for months without travel. That's when I first caught her texting someone called Arjun late at night. When I asked, she said he was just a college friend going through a divorce, needed emotional support. I believed her because I wanted to. Then in late 2020, we had our daughter Aisha. Most beautiful thing that ever happened to me. But Zara changed after that. Postpartum depression, she said. Stopped taking care of herself, barely interacted with the baby some days. I hired a maid to help, took care of night feeds myself. I thought she just needed time to adjust. What I didn't realize was that she was spending hours on her phone while I was at work and the maid watched Aisha. The Arjun texting increased. She started going out for walks that lasted 3 to 4 hours. When I questioned her, she'd explode, say I was controlling, didn't trust her. By 2021, things were bad. We barely talked except to fight. She'd refuse physical intimacy, said she felt touched out from the baby. I understood that. But she seemed fine hugging and being affectionate with everyone else. At family gatherings, she'd ignore me completely but be laughing and charming with other men. The breaking point came in early 2022. I found messages on her phone. Yes, I snooped, I'm not proud of it. But what I found destroyed me. She was having an emotional affair with this Arjun guy. Telling him how unhappy she was, how I was a boring engineer type, how she married too young. Worst part? She was planning to meet him during our upcoming trip to Mumbai. I confronted her. She broke down, begged forgiveness, said it was just texting, nothing physical. Said she'd cut contact. I believed her again because I loved her, because we had Aisha, because divorce felt like failure. We went to counseling. Things seemed better for a few months. But I started paying attention more. Her phone was always face down. She'd shower with it. Started working out obsessively, buying new clothes. Said she was finding herself again. I supported it because I thought it meant she was getting better. In December 2022, I got promoted and my company offered me a project manager role that required traveling to different Gulf countries. Better money, career growth, but meant being away from Dubai 2 to 3 weeks per month. Zara seemed excited about it, said the extra money would be good for Aisha's future. What I realize now is that she was excited because it gave her more freedom. Started the new role in January 2023. First few trips went normally. Zara would video call with Aisha, send photos, everything seemed fine. But by March, the calls became less frequent. She'd always have excuses. Aisha was sleeping, she was busy with work, her phone battery died. In April, I came home unexpectedly from a Riyadh trip due to a client cancellation. Used my spare key to enter our apartment around 2 p.m. Found men's clothes in our bedroom, shirt, watch, cologne that wasn't mine. Zara wasn't home, but the maid looked terrified when she saw me. I asked Salma, our maid, what was happening. Poor woman started crying, said she couldn't lose her job, had family in Philippines to support. I promised I wouldn't blame her, just needed truth. She told me Zara had been bringing a man home regularly when I traveled. Same guy for months. They'd stay in the bedroom while she watched Aisha. My world collapsed. I sat in my own living room, looking at my daughter playing with her toys, and felt completely hollow. I didn't confront Zara immediately. I know I should have, but I was in shock. Instead, I started documenting everything. Screenshots of our bank accounts, photos of the men's items, videos of our apartment. I also spoke to a lawyer in Dubai about my options. The lawyer, Mr. Khanna, was straightforward. UAE has strict adultery laws, but proving it is complicated. More importantly, since Zara was the primary caregiver and I traveled for work, custody would likely go to her unless I could prove she was unfit. He advised me to gather more evidence and consider my options carefully. I also did something I'm not proud of. I installed a small camera in our living room, hidden behind some books. I told myself it was to protect Aisha, but really I needed to know the truth. What I discovered was worse than I imagined. The guy wasn't just some random affair partner. His name was Vikram, and from their conversations that the camera picked up, this had been going on for over a year. They were planning a life together. Talking about getting me out of the picture, and taking half of everything. The most crushing part was hearing Zara talk about me. Called me a convenient ATM, said I was too stupid and trusting to ever figure it out. She mocked my devotion to her, imitated the way I'd express love. Said Aisha would be better off with Vikram as a father figure. I didn't sleep for 3 days after hearing that. But here's where the story gets interesting. While I was heartbroken, I was also getting angry. And when I get angry, I get strategic. I started preparing. Opened separate bank accounts and slowly moved money there. Made copies of all important documents. Aisha's birth certificate, our marriage certificate, property papers for our flat in Mumbai, insurance policies. I even started looking into schools in different cities, just in case. I also reached out to my brother Fahad back in Mumbai. Told him everything. He was furious, wanted to fly to Dubai immediately to confront Zara. I convinced him to wait, said I needed to handle this properly. Then I made the smartest decision of my life. I hired a private investigator in Dubai. Cost me 5,000 AED, but Mr. Rahman was professional and discreet. Within 2 weeks, he had photos, videos, everything. Vikram was married too, by the way. Had his own family in Mumbai. This was just a fun side adventure for both of them. By June 2023, I had a complete picture. I knew their routines, their plans, even their backup plans. Zara thought she was being so clever, but she was sloppy. Too confident in my supposed ignorance. The end came in July 2023. I was in Muscat for work, scheduled to return after 10 days. On day 8, I got a text message at 11 a.m. local time. Ahmad, I can't do this anymore. I've filed for divorce. You'll get the papers soon. I'm keeping Aisha and the apartment. Don't make this difficult. Zara. That was it. 7 years of marriage ended with a WhatsApp message. But here's what she didn't know. I was already 3 steps ahead. Within 30 minutes of getting that text, I was on the phone with Mr. Khanna. We'd already prepared everything. He immediately filed counter-divorce papers citing adultery and presented all our evidence to the court. Photos, videos, financial records showing she'd been using our joint account to fund her affair, expensive restaurants, hotels, gifts for Vikram. I also called our bank and froze our joint accounts. Called our landlord and informed him about the divorce proceedings. Called Aisha's nursery and told them only I or someone with written permission from me could pick her up. But the biggest move, I flew back to Dubai that night. Landed at 6 a.m., went straight to our apartment. Used my key to enter. Zara was in our bedroom with Vikram. The shock on her face when she saw me was almost worth all the pain she'd caused. "You got my message," she said, trying to sound calm. "I did," I replied. "Did you get mine?" She looked confused. Then her phone started buzzing. Messages from the bank about frozen accounts. Call from the lawyer about divorce papers. Text from the landlord about the lease situation. Vikram tried to leave, but I blocked the door. "No, bye. Sit down. We need to talk." What followed was the most satisfying conversation of my life. I laid out everything I knew. The timeline of their affair. The financial evidence. The custody documentation I'd prepared. The fact that Vikram's wife Priya, yes, I tracked her down too, was now aware of everything. Zara started crying, but not the remorseful kind. The angry, frustrated kind. Said I was being cruel and vindictive. That I should just let her be happy. I looked at her and felt nothing. No love, no hate, just emptiness. "Where's Aisha?" I asked. "With my sister. She doesn't need to see this." "Good. Because she's coming with me." That's when Zara realized she'd miscalculated everything. She thought I'd be the same soft-hearted Ahmad who'd forgiven her texting affair. She thought I'd just accept whatever terms she offered because I was desperate to avoid scandal. She was wrong. The legal battle took 4 months. Zara hired her own lawyer, claimed I was an absent father, said my work travel made me unfit for custody. But I had prepared for that too. Salma, our maid, testified about how involved I was when I was home, how Zara often ignored Aisha during her affair meetings. The evidence was overwhelming. The court granted me full custody of Aisha, with supervised visitation rights for Zara. I got to keep our Dubai apartment and our savings. She got to keep her jewelry and personal belongings. Vikram's wife filed for divorce too. Apparently, this wasn't his first affair either. Karma works in mysterious ways. The hardest part wasn't the legal battle or the financial stress. It was explaining to my parents what had happened. My mother cried for hours, blamed herself for not seeing the signs. My father was quietly furious, felt disrespected on behalf of our entire family. But they supported my decision completely. "Beta, galti tumhari nahin hai," Abu said. "Kuch log surf apni bear main sakti hain." Moving forward wasn't easy. Single dad life in Dubai is challenging. I had to reduce my travel, took a slight pay cut to stay more local. Found a great nanny, Fatima auntie, who's been a blessing. Aisha was only 3 during all this, so she adapted quickly, but I worry about the long-term effects. Zara moved back to Mumbai after the divorce was finalized. She started posting on social media again, inspirational quotes about new beginnings and finding yourself. Never mentions that she destroyed a family in the process. She sees Aisha once a month via video call and twice a year when we visit India. Aisha knows her as Mama, but calls Fatima Auntie, Nanny. Kids are resilient, but it breaks my heart sometimes. I've been in therapy for the past year. Helps with the trust issues and anger. My therapist says I show signs of PTSD from the betrayal, which explains the hypervigilance and sleep problems. Dating feels impossible right now. How do you trust someone again after something like that? Every woman who shows interest, I wonder what her real motives are. My friends keep saying I need to get back out there, but I'm not ready. The financial recovery has been good though. Without Zara's spending, I've managed to save significantly. Bought a small apartment in Mumbai for when we visit family. Started an education fund for Aisha. Even helped my parents renovate their house. Last month, I got a message from Zara asking if we could co-parent better, because Aisha was asking why Mama doesn't live with us anymore. She suggested we try to be friends for Aisha's sake. I didn't respond. Some bridges shouldn't be rebuilt. But here's what I've learned from all this. Love isn't supposed to make you stupid. Real love includes respect, honesty, commitment. What I felt for Zara was more like addiction. I was so afraid of losing her that I ignored every warning sign. Trust your instincts. Every time something felt off, it was off. But I convinced myself I was being paranoid or controlling. Document everything. In situations like this, emotions run high and memories get fuzzy. Having concrete evidence saved me in court and in my own healing process. Financial independence is crucial. If I hadn't started preparing financially months before, I would have been in a much worse position. Your family's support matters. I'm grateful my parents and siblings rallied around me. Not everyone has that, but find your support system wherever you can. Kids are more resilient than you think. Aisha is thriving now. She's happy, healthy, doing well in school. She asks about her mama sometimes, but she's not traumatized. It's been 14 months since the divorce was finalized. Some days are harder than others. I still have moments where I miss what I thought we had, but I don't miss the anxiety, the gaslighting, the constant feeling that something was wrong. Aisha and I have our routines now. Friday evenings we video call the grandparents in Mumbai. Saturdays we go to the park or the mall. Sundays I cook biryani and we watch Disney movies. Simple life, but honest. I'm sharing this because when I was going through the worst of it, reading similar stories here helped me feel less alone. If you're in a situation where you feel like you're going crazy, where your partner is making you doubt your own reality, trust yourself. Get help. Make a plan. And if you're the one cheating on someone who loves you, stop. Just stop. You have no idea the damage you're causing. End the relationship honestly if you're not happy, but don't destroy someone's ability to trust ever again. That's my story. Thanks for reading if you made it this far. Writing it out actually helped more than I expected. Update 1, posted 3 weeks later. Hey everyone. Got some DMs asking for an update, so here we go. Things have been interesting. 2 weeks ago, I got a call from Zara's sister Nisha. We always had a good relationship, and she was genuinely upset about how everything went down. Turns out Zara is struggling. Lost her design job. Apparently clients found out about the affair situation somehow. Small world in Mumbai's creative industry. She's back living with her parents, and Rashid Sahab is not happy. Traditional Muslim families don't take kindly to daughters who break up homes, regardless of the circumstances. Nisha asked if I'd consider letting Zara see Aisha more often. Said she's genuinely remorseful and wants to rebuild some relationship with her daughter. I told Nisha I'd think about it, but honestly, I don't trust Zara's motives. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. On a positive note, Aisha started speaking more Urdu after our last trip to Mumbai. She's been teaching Fatima Auntie English words, and Fatima Auntie teaches her Urdu phrases. It's adorable. Work is going well. Got another promotion, which comes with better hours and less travel. Feels like life is finally stabilizing. Also started going to a men's support group for divorced dads. Didn't think I needed it, but it helps to talk to guys who've been through similar situations. One guy, Samir, went through almost the exact same thing. Wife cheated while he was working in Singapore. We've become good friends. Still not ready to date, but I'm not completely closed to the idea anymore. Baby steps. Update 2, posted 2 months later. Reddit, I need to vent. Zara showed up at Aisha's school yesterday. Unannounced. Told them she was the mother and wanted to pick up her daughter early. Thank God I had already given the school strict instructions about this. They called me immediately, and I rushed over from work. Found Zara in the principal's office, crying and making a scene. Saying I was keeping her from her own child, that she had rights as a mother. The principal, Mrs. Singh, was professional but firm. Showed Zara the court documents I'd provided, which clearly stated supervised visitation only. When I arrived, Zara looked rough. Thinner, tired, like she hadn't been sleeping well. Part of me felt bad for her, but then I remembered everything she put us through. "A mod, please," she said. "I just want to see my daughter. I'm her mother." "You should have thought about that before you decided Vikram was more important than your family," I replied. She broke down completely then. Said she made mistakes, that she was young and confused, that she deserves a second chance. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. But then Aisha came out of her classroom, saw Zara, and hid behind my legs. That told me everything I needed to know. We left together, and I took Aisha for ice cream to help her process what happened. She asked why the crying lady knew her name. I told her it was someone who knew her when she was very little, but not to worry about it. Called my lawyer immediately. He's filing a restraining order to keep Zara away from Aisha's school and our building. Said showing up like that actually hurts her case for increased visitation. I also called Nisha to let her know what happened. She was horrified, said the family is trying to get Zara into therapy but she's resistant. This whole thing just reminded me why I made the right decision. Zara still thinks the world revolves around her wants and needs. No consideration for how her actions affect Aisha. The hardest part is that I genuinely hope she would mature, get help, become a better person for Aisha's sake. But she seems to be getting worse instead of better. Aisha asked me that night if the crying lady was going to come to our house. I assured her no, that Baba would always keep her safe. She smiled and went back to playing with her dolls. Kids shouldn't have to worry about things like this. Update 3. Posted 4 months later. Big update. Reddit. First, the legal stuff, got the restraining order. Zara can't come within 200 meters of Aisha's school or our building. She's also required to go through family court if she wants any visitation changes. But here's the bigger news. I'm seeing someone. Her name is Rima. She's a pediatric nurse at the hospital where I took Aisha for a routine checkup. Divorced. Has a 6-year-old son named Amir. We started talking in the waiting room while our kids played together. I wasn't looking for anything, honestly. But she's different. Calm, practical, funny. Doesn't try to pry into my past or rush anything. We've been taking it very slowly. Coffee dates while the kids are in school, family outings to parks where Aisha and Amir can play. Aisha likes her, which is the most important thing. Calls her Rima auntie, and always asks when we're going to see her again. Rima knows about my divorce situation. She went through something similar. Her ex-husband was financially abusive and controlling. She understands the trust issues, the hypervigilance around new relationships. We're not rushing into anything. Both of us have been hurt before, both have kids to think about. But it's nice to have adult companionship again, someone to talk to about things other than work and parenting. On the Zara front, she's apparently in therapy now and has been sober for 3 months. I didn't even know she had a drinking problem, but Nisha mentioned it. She wants to start video calls with Aisha again, supervised by her sister. I'm considering it, mainly because my therapist thinks it might be good for Aisha to have some connection with her biological mother, as long as it's stable and supervised. But I'm not making any decisions quickly. Zara will need to prove long-term stability and commitment before I trust her around our daughter again. Work continues to go well. Got a bonus that I'm using to take Aisha to London this summer. She's excited about seeing the Tower Bridge and meeting the Queen. I haven't had the heart to tell her about the Queen yet. Life feels peaceful. For the first time in years, I'm not constantly worried about the other shoe dropping. Aisha is happy and thriving. I'm building new relationships based on honesty and mutual respect. Sometimes I look back at who I was during my marriage, constantly anxious, always trying to fix things that weren't my responsibility to fix, and I barely recognize that person. I'm not saying everything is perfect. I still have bad days, still struggle with trust issues. But I'm not the broken man I was 18 months ago. Thanks to everyone who's been following this journey and offering support. This community has been more helpful than you know. Final update, posted 6 months later. Reddit, it's been quite a journey. Rima and I got engaged last month. Small ceremony, just our families and close friends. Aisha was thrilled. She got to wear a princess dress and throw flower petals. Amir walked me down the aisle because he said, Uncle Ahmad needs someone to make sure he doesn't run away. Kids got jokes. We're planning a simple wedding for next year. Both of us want something small and meaningful, not the big production I had last time. Aisha has been having monthly video calls with Zara for the past 4 months. They go okay. Zara looks healthier, seems more stable. She's gotten a new job and moved into her own apartment. She asks about school, reads Aisha stories, keeps things light and positive. I won't say I've forgiven her completely, but I've let go of the anger. Holding on to that was only hurting me and potentially Aisha. The biggest change has been in how I see relationships. With Rima, everything feels different. We communicate openly about problems instead of letting them fester. We respect each other's boundaries. We build each other up instead of tearing each other down. Aisha will be starting primary school next year, and she's reading above grade level. She speaks 3 languages, English, Hindi, and Urdu, and wants to learn Arabic. She's confident, happy, surrounded by people who love her genuinely. Sometimes she asks about her first mama, that's what she calls Zara now, but she's not confused or upset about the family situation. Kids adapt better than we think they will. I never thought I'd be grateful for what happened, but in a weird way, I am. Going through hell taught me what real love looks like, what healthy relationships feel like, and what kind of father I want to be. To anyone reading this who's going through something similar, it gets better. It really does. But you have to be willing to fight for yourself and your kids. You have to be willing to make hard decisions and stick to them. And you have to believe that you deserve better than someone who treats you like you're disposable. Thanks for following this story, Reddit. Time to close this chapter and start writing the next one.